that is the question. The question that you asked, Alan, who are you spending more time with? That is a very, very powerful question. Because you might not even be able to be yourself around certain people if they're arrogant or entitled.
Staying aligned in life is hard enough with supportive people around you. It's going to be impossible with toxic people around you, with arrogant people around you, with entitled people around you.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we teach you how to level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode number 1428, What If Your Success is Just a Numbers Game? Today, for episode number 1429, we really wish we stopped spending time with these people sooner. I had something happen one time, Alan, where it made me question why and whether or not I would continue to be friends with someone. And it's not the story I've told many times. There was someone in my life who was into hunting. And they went out and they were hunting and they shot a deer. And they posted a picture of this deer on Instagram and they put the hashtag vegan. And one of our mutual friends, actually, who is, I don't know if they still are, but they were a vegan at the time, commented and said, hey, that was kind of a dick move. And he wasn't very kind to this person. It was very strange for me because it didn't seem like something this person would do. It didn't seem like this person was that negative or that toxic. It was quite a surprise to me, honestly. But after that happened and I started to look back, I remember seeing other signs of what we're going to talk about today. And it started to make sense to me. And then I noticed more of that behavior and more of that behavior and more of that behavior. So what we're talking about today is arrogance and entitlement. Being around somebody who is arrogant, being around people who are entitled, there aren't many, if any, benefits of it, honestly. Especially if you're somebody who is very humble, or going back to our previous episode, 1427, are you a turtle or a pufferfish? If you're a turtle around pufferfishes or around people who are arrogant or entitled, it's going to mess up the relationships. What can I help you with, sir?
Whenever I smile, Kevin always interrupts the episode and asks what he can...
Because I know something's going on in that brain of yours.
Yeah, puffer fishes. Fish is already plural.
Whatever, man.
No, I love it, man.
Starfishes, puffer fishes.
This is fun for me. I'm not trying to hate. I'm not trying to make fun.
No, I know you're not.
I just think it is fun.
I'll put you down. I'm in an unresourceful state today. I will put you down.
Puffer fishes.
Puffer fishes.
I love it. I thought it was funny. I'm allowed to smile.
Turtle and puffer fishes.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what we're talking about today. Arrogance and entitlement. It was very arrogant of that person to do what he did. To put a picture up and tag people knowing those people would be offended, and then when they got offended, just talking trash to them. That was very arrogant. It was a very arrogant, toxic thing to do. And then when I looked back, this person and I used to have physical altercations because I remember thinking, hey, he's kind of a dick sometimes. Sometimes you say some stuff that is just not very kind. I never connected the fact that that was arrogant behavior. Now, full disclosure, the definition of arrogance versus what we think arrogance is versus what you think arrogance is might be different. The definition of entitlement versus what we think versus what you think. This is going to be an open conversation where there's going to be a lot of contemplation. But if you can ask yourself, are there any people who I would put into the arrogant and or entitled bucket? How do I respond when I'm spending time with them? Why are they still in my life? Is it positive that they're in my life? That's really the goal of this episode, is just to have an open conversation around those two things. And the reason why is, in retrospect, I wish I spent less time with people like that. You wish you spent less time with people like that. If we can use our pain and lessons to help you avoid some, then that's what this episode's for.
You know, when you were talking, I was thinking about, I wish I had spent less time with this type of person. Toxic came up for me.
Yeah.
I think that we should talk about that. What is, yes, arrogant and entitled are toxic. And a very simple analogy here, if you are a plant in toxic soil, with toxic water and toxic rain and no sunshine, no matter how amazing you are going to slowly decay. I used to believe in myself so much that I believed I could not only achieve my dreams, but I believed that I could bring a lot of other people with me. And I think to some extent that's obviously true. Our company is built on the idea that we can bring people with us toward our dreams. Together we can all grow, we can all achieve, we can all be better. And I do believe that that's a superpower, but it came with this kryptonite. And it came with this weakness. This weakness was me allowing myself to tolerate being super disrespected by people who are arrogant, entitled, and toxic. And it wasn't until Kevin came into my life or Emilia came into my life and they started observing the way I was treated by other people. And they were like, hey, that's like really toxic. That's really arrogant. That's really, I can't believe you let them treat you that way. And then I started to say, oh, okay, because that was kind of normal. Being around arrogant, entitled people. In hindsight, I am going to share this. I have been around a lot of arrogant, entitled people in my life. And that has been single-handedly the biggest mistake of my life. I'm not even kidding. That's been the single-handed biggest mistake I've ever made is me unconsciously and then eventually consciously choosing to continue to surround myself with arrogant, entitled people. In hindsight, when I shifted from corporate America into podcasting, and I started a podcast called Conversations Change Lives, and I started getting into fitness, and I started chasing my dreams, and I started doing fitness competitions and fitness coaching and fitness modeling, I had a lot of people make a lot of fun of me. They made a lot of fun of me. They talked behind my back. They thought I was an idiot. Why would you ever quit a job making that much money? I would never do that. And in hindsight, it really is fascinating because those are very arrogant, entitled things. I would say they're toxic things. In hindsight, from this frame, Kevin and I are very, very successful. We've built a $250,000 per year business. And growing. It's a quickly, exponentially, globally growing business. We're very successful, Kevin. And these people were very, very arrogant in, oh, he's such an idiot. I can't believe he did that. I would never do that. It's very, why not support me? In hindsight, it doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you just want me to go succeed? Why wouldn't you want us to? We're trying to help people. I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm like talking to kids for free at the Boys and Girls Club to try to help them create prosperity in their lives. Why are you hating on me so much? I have so much pain under this. And the truth of the matter is that part of it is my fault, and here's why. I allowed toxic people to be toxic toward me, and I didn't stick up for myself. I should have said, dude, shove it. You're a loser. Get out of here. I'm going to succeed way more than you. I never did that. I never said that. I never was like, dude, what makes you think that I'm going to fail? What makes you think, on what planet, what makes you think that you know better than I do? Where do you get off? On what planet do you know business better than I do? I have an MBA. You've never succeeded in business in your entire life. You've never started a podcast. You can see how frustrated I am with myself that I never stood up to these people. I never told them to shove it. And in hindsight, it's like, it was really toxic. I'm lucky that I made it through a lot of that, dude, honestly. Because there were times when I felt so alone, and I felt so misunderstood, and I felt so not believed in. I'm surprised in some way. I don't know even how I made it through a lot of that, dude, honestly.
Well, it's very hard to combat arrogance. Remember, and I don't say this to brag, but I think it's a really good example. Alan and I were at a party, and I was drinking, and there was somebody there who is very arrogant. He's been very arrogant to you in the past, and he was picking on someone. He was picking on who was your girlfriend at the time. And I said, hey man, if you don't stop, I'm gonna take you outside and beat the shit out of you. Like, what are you doing? Why are you such an ass? I was drunk, so I was very forward.
Dude, he's always been like that.
But that was the last time he won't talk to me like he talks to you. Now again,
I know.
That's a dangerous game too. How do you overcome arrogance? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I can't claim to know it because if I was sober, I might not have said anything because I wasn't that courageous. I said I was going to tell you this or say this story. Today, as of recording this episode, I did a podcast pre-call earlier. And it's a podcast about business, and I did my research, and I said, yeah, this should be good. They have 38 episodes. Cool, it's right up our alley. And I log into this podcast pre-call, and there's the producer. So I'm talking to the producer of the show. I'm not even talking to the host. I don't even know who the host is at this point. And he said, hey, we're excited to have you. I just want to take you through this presentation so we can make sure this is a good fit. And I was like, okay, red flag's already going off. Just the energy around this, is different.
Yeah, it's like dance, Kevin, dance.
A little bit.
To prove yourself to us.
A little
bit.
And
you're not worthy of
But I understand this is the process for people, so cool. I'm open mind. Let's do it. All right, cool. So we're going through and they say, okay, what's the size of your social media audience? Do you have a mailing list? And I said, yeah, but we don't really utilize it. We send, we'll send an email every week on the top tip from the week for the podcast. And he said, do you do like any selling on it? I said, no, not really. No, we'll talk about group coaching every once in a while. And he said, why not? And I said, because that's not the way our business model is set up. Right there, it's like, why not? You're not going to coach me. No. That's not why I'm here. I don't even know who you are. And very clearly, you don't know who I am either.
And also, very clearly, real talk, they're not that successful.
I know. So,
which is arrogance.
I power through that, and we're talking, and then we get to the point where, and I was gonna say, are you expecting money from me? Is that coming? Is that what's gonna happen here? Because I'm not interested if that's the case. They said, so you don't have to do this, but if you do want to, you can send us $100 and we'll run a Facebook ad. And it'll help the episode. And also, if you could get 3 people to subscribe and share, and then also connect us with people who come on the show, and we'll make connections for you. That's a very entitled way to approach having a guest on. And here's how I know. I'm doing you a bigger favor than you're doing me. I know your show's not successful. I'm certain of it. I can tell by looking at it. Mm-hmm. Now, that could be considered arrogant the way I said it, but here's the thing. I have data to back it up. When we had Evan Carmichael on in the beginning, it was, how much time are you willing to give us? 20 minutes?
It was gratitude. Brother, it was gratitude.
It was gratitude. Gratitude.
The opposite of entitlement is gratitude.
And I would say that's one of the ways we got as many amazing guests as we did, is we were very, very grateful, and we over-prepared. I knew their names. You knew their businesses. That is grateful energy versus entitled energy. Mm-hmm. Then we get to the end of this podcast pre-call, and he said, oh, if you ever are looking for guests, we'd love to join. And I said, we don't have guests. And I don't know who you are. Why would we have you on our show? Right. I'm a podcaster. I'm an entrepreneur. I have 1,400 episodes that says I take this very seriously. That's why I'm coming on you. I'm way ahead of you. I'm way ahead of where you are in podcast land. I get that very often where people say, well, I'd love to come on your show. You're missing the point.
Yeah.
I don't ask Tom Brady, and I'm not saying we're Tom Brady, but I don't ask Tom Brady to play catch with me. I understand he has other people that he can go play catch with. It's entitled not to do the research before you talk to someone, because that makes you look bad. I did another podcast today, and this person was sweet. It's not a negative thing, but we're going through kind of the pre-flight checklist. And she said, I just want to make sure all of your notifications are off and you have water and all that. And I didn't say anything. I'm not going to say anything. And when she said, tell me about your business, I said, we have 1,430 episodes. And she said, wow, I feel like an idiot, because here I am talking to somebody who's 100 times further than I am, and I'm telling them the pre-flight checklist. And I said, honestly, no, I'm all for it. I want to hear what it would be arrogant of me to say, you don't have to tell me any of these things. I know everything. I don't know everything.
I'm the man, and I know.
That would be arrogant. So
as a matter
of
fact, it's actually a cred build, because they're taking their platform seriously.
I appreciate that.
And it wasn't from that place of, I appreciate
that.
And then they afterwards, they were like, oh, listen, I'm sorry, you obviously know that. See, that's humility.
Yes.
That's humility of like, oh, wow, you're way ahead of me. sorry that I didn't mean to be disrespectful. It's like, you weren't disrespectful. If you were, trust me, I'd know it.
We see this. One of the reasons this is such an important episode is whether you're watching or listening, you might not have radar on this as much. I do. I have an undercover radar of, if you're arrogant or entitled, I can smell it. It turns me off immediately, and I do not want to spend any time with you, regardless of how much it might be detrimental. I don't care. Whatever. We'll go do our own thing. I'd rather be aligned and losing than misaligned and winning. We'll figure it out.
Thank goodness.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
My early next level nugget would be, what is your radar for arrogance or entitlement? What is your response to it? And how many positions are being held in your life by people who are arrogant and or entitled?
Hey everybody, I'm Rebecca. I started off with the group coaching and it was fantastic. I was able to use the PPT to kind of track. Now back then I wasn't very consistent, and as of late, I have been working with Alan individually, and he's gotten to know me more on a personal level, and so he knows when to be gentle with me and when to push me harder, and he has really helped me with the consistency in the tracker, and he's just great to work with and really cares not only about my business goals, but my personal life as well. So it's been a blessing working with him, and I'm just very thankful to have him take me just to the next level in business and in life.
I always do this at speeches. I have the entire audience close their eyes. And don't do this if you're driving. If you're not driving, please close your eyes. I'm closing mine as well. You have one person. This person wants to see you win. And you know they want to see you win. They put wind in your sails. Sometimes they tell you hard truths that are challenging to hear, but you know deep down intuitively they want to see you win. They do. They want to see you flourish. They want to see you grow. They want to see you succeed. They believe in you. And maybe this person on the surface, maybe you don't even like them all that much, but you know deep down they really want to see you win. Okay, that's person one. Person two, and when I share this, it should almost bother you because you don't want to admit it. This second person, they seem like they want you to win. They make it seem like they really want to see you succeed on the surface. On the outside, they make it appear like they're supporting you. But you know, deep down in your heart of hearts and in your soul and in your intuition, that they don't want to see you win. This is the type of person where you play a board game with them and they almost don't even care if they win. They just don't want you to win. This is a person who pretends to support you, but you know deep down they are deeply jealous of you, and you know they unconsciously do not want to see you win. This one will be hard to admit. It's someone you're like, damn, that is true. I don't have evidence. I don't have anything I could point to, but I know intuitively they just don't want to see me flourish. They don't want to see me succeed beyond them. Now open your eyes and tell me which one of those people you spend more time with. Every time I do that, it is such a huge awakening. Because the person you're spending the most time with is most likely the person who is hoodwinking you to stay with them. And the other person who really does want to see you win isn't fighting for your time. They're not fighting for your time because they believe in themselves and because they're free. I'm not mad at Kevin when Kevin decides to do Kevin. If it conflicts with the business, I'll say, hey man, we need this, this, and this. But that's because I want to see him win. And I know that I'm not the most likable person in the world and all that crap. What I do also know is I want to see people win. I want to see people flourish. I want to believe in people and I want to see people win. And I always have. And You have people in your life that are toxic. You just haven't identified it because it sucks to look at. It does. It sucks to look at. You want to believe these people aren't toxic, and even they want to believe they're not. But they are. And if you get away from them, believe it or not, that's when they'll start being humble. When you leave, they will be more humble. When you set boundaries, they will be more respectful. This is my biggest mistake, hands down, and I'm not making that mistake anymore thanks to Kev, thanks to Emilia. I know how to reverse engineer finish lines, and I know how to achieve goals, and I know how to make habits, and I know how to track habits, and I know math, and I know all this stuff. I was not good at this at all. I had no idea what arrogance looked like. I had no idea what lack of humility looked like. I had no idea what entitlement looked like. I had no idea what toxic looked like. Toxicity is real. It is in your life, and you know intuitively that it is, but you keep gaslighting yourself and you keep convincing yourself that they're not toxic when deep down you know they are, and you have to break free. You have to punch the bully in the face, and they'll stop bullying you because deep down they're just very weak. That's actually why they're so toxic.
And if you are able to reformulate the relationship, they'll probably leave. The reason a lot of people are in the relationships they're in is because they have control, they have power, they have influence, whatever. They feel like they're in control. I think that's a good way to put it. And the second you say it's not going to be that way anymore, they might go somewhere else.
Where they have control.
Yeah, which will show you why they were that way the whole time. When I look at ads on social media, the thing that jumps off the page to me now is it creates entitlement. It's creating entitlement. It's saying you are entitled to more success than you have with less work. That's all it's doing. That's all it's doing. I had a podcast breakthrough session with someone. And she said, if I work with you, what kind of success can I expect? And I said, I love that question. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. It depends on how much work you put in. That's it. I have some clients who crush it. I have some clients who don't do much because they don't want to put any more work in. And that's on you. That's totally up to you. But the level of work you put in is going to dictate the success you have, not me. I can help you.
It's got to be the most honest answer any salesperson has ever given, man.
This person said they wanted to work with us, so I think it was the right answer.
You mean that I can't get a six-pack in like 30 days and that I can't be a multimillionaire in the next 90 days?
That's all perpetuating entitlement is what it is. And people know
real.
that. People know that. If I was sleazy and I was putting together an ad, I would do the same thing. I would say, what can I do that would create real entitlement around the fact that they want results that they don't have yet, and I can teach them how to do it? This is what I would do. That's all it is. So it's creating entitlement. It's creating false expectations, unfortunately. I know that's off the road of what we were talking about here today, but that is the question. The question that you asked, Alan, who are you spending more time with? That is a very, very powerful question, because you might not even be able to be yourself around certain people if they're arrogant or entitled. Mm-hmm. You might be a different person completely. One of the reasons I think things would be a little bit different now, but one of the reasons I didn't like spending time around arrogant people is because I couldn't stay centered. It was very hard for me to stay myself. Sometimes I would stoop to where they were, and I didn't like that. I'd feel dirty after, and I'd regret it, but I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know how to stop it. Yep. I didn't know how to stay. I'm better at it now. I'm checking, I'm shield bumping, and I'm staying in alignment and saying, if I'm being honest, that's not for me. I'm not interested, but it's uncomfortable and it sucks.
Yeah.
But even on that call, that podcast pre-call, this person said, no, I'm grateful you are telling me the truth. I'm all about authenticity. It's like, all right, cool. That's good. We're more in alignment than we were before. I still don't think I want to do it, but we're more in alignment than we were before. I appreciate the honesty as well. So, yeah.
Staying aligned in life is hard enough with supportive people around you. It's going to be impossible with toxic people around you, with arrogant people around you, with entitled people around you. The opposite of entitlement is gratitude. The opposite of arrogance is humility. I'm going to define each real quick because this is something I wish I knew so desperately. Arrogance is someone who thinks they are better than they really are. Entitlement is someone who thinks they're more important than they really are. thinks they deserve by default, thinks they shouldn't have to earn anything. They are a certain color or a certain race or a certain pedigree or came from a certain family. It's entitlement. You think you deserve by default without any work. You think you're better than other people. It's like a spoiled kid who gets whatever they want without any effort, and then they walk around in life thinking that they deserve things by default. And in some ways, that's not actually even the kid's fault. That would be the parents' fault. But at the end of the day, it's our responsibility to identify where we're at. And our community tends to be walked on. They tend to be bullied. It makes sense. Law of attraction. Kevin and I have been walked on and bullied a lot. Me more than him, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. I'm good at a lot of stuff. I've never been good at this. I'm getting better at this. And it's changing my life. It's changing my life. So humility is an accurate understanding of your own value, an accurate understanding of your own importance, an accurate understanding of your own skills, an accurate understanding of your own abilities. Humility is, I'm a student and I'm also a teacher, and I know which is which and I know when to be which. And I'm not going to teach you about things that I suck at. Kevin and I was on the phone earlier with the NLU team, and we're creating something called the Next Level Dreamliner. This is going to be a planner that helps you break your dreams down into goals, down into milestones, down into tasks and habits, and it's going to be something that's amazing that keeps you on track. And I opened the meeting. It was me, Amy, Jerry Ann, and Lizzie, and I said, listen, this will never be sold through NLU if Kevin and I don't love it enough to use it every day. Kevin and I do not sell things that we do not do ourselves. We just don't. If we're not using them ourselves, we won't talk about it. We won't do it. We're not full of it. We're not going to lead you to a place we haven't been or a place we're headed toward. And that's leading by example, and that's who we are. So we're not going to sell you some quick fix course that we've never done. We've never made $1 million in 2 days, so we're not going to sell you a course on how to do it.
Yet.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think I'm actually on to something behind the scenes that could turn that. Actually, so.
Yeah. and if and when that happens, we'll tell you the truth of what accumulated beforehand.
Yeah, it took 6 years. 6 years and 2 days, but
yeah.
Don't worry about the first 6 years.
Yeah, don't worry about the first 6 years of grinding. But at the end of the day, that's what it is you know intuitively who is toxic, and you're afraid to admit it to yourself because it's sad. It's sad. It sucks. You don't want to believe it. I don't either. But when you leave their life, your life is going to flourish, and you're going to go, there seems to be a correlation between how magnificent my life gets and how far away from these people I get. And that has been my experience. That has been Kevin's experience. Set boundaries. Sail away from toxic.
And I wonder if one of the reasons I'm good at letting people go is because I understand if they're toxic and they're going, that's what's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, probably.
I hang on to
might be a
people
higher unconscious competency that we never knew.
Yeah, I hang on to people who are nutritious, who are positive. I do. I'm surrounded by those people.
Well, your deepest fear was failure. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't believe you could succeed, of course you're not going to believe you can succeed with toxic people.
Yeah, that's fair.
So for you, it's like, okay, I have to leave. I'm afraid I'm not going to succeed regardless. So for you, that humility was huge. You know, I think that shows humility. So you've always been better at this, and you've definitely helped me in this so much. Seriously, brother.
I don't know where it comes from, but this is something that I've just had radar on for a long time, and I don't know where it comes from, but I'm grateful. If you have questions or you need support on this, reach out. I don't know what that would look like. I don't know if you're going to send me a picture of someone and say, hey, is this person arrogant? I don't know. I don't know what it will look like. But if you need help deciphering what it means, please, we're always just a message away. If you are looking for more like-minded people, maybe you're in this moment realizing I am surrounded by a lot of people who are arrogant and entitled, and I want to get around people who are humble and have big goals and big dreams and want to see me win. Our 12th round of group coaching is starting October 3rd, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So right now, the website is updated. We have everything ready to go. I know a lot of people couldn't get into the group that is running now. So if you missed out, please reach out for the promo code. We'll give it to you and get signed up so you do not make the same mistake you made before. With the promo code, it ends up being less than $97 a month. So a bargain, a really, really, really affordable. And that's why we have it set up that way, so you can afford it. We want to help.
That's it. I want to share this quickly. Group coaching, Kevin and I revamped the curriculum. There goes my alarm. Kevin and I revamped the curriculum for, we sat down, we're like, okay, we've done 10 groups, that's 100 people, and we've learned a lot. Let's take all the best stuff and let's get rid of all the stuff that didn't land or wasn't clear or didn't help build momentum. And we revamped the whole curriculum, and so far Group 11 is on fire, cranking. And the last thing I want to say is whether it's group coaching or Next Level Nation or anything at NLU, what we can promise you is that toxic people are on our radar now. We know what it's like when someone's trying to put others down or be disrespectful or be a bully. We've booted people from Next Level Nation who were being toxic. One time I did a live video where I was sharing a story and I was crying and someone was really toxic and Kevin booted him like within 20 minutes.
Gonzo.
They're gone. If you're not supportive of other people's goals and dreams and of other people's choices, you're gone. So if you want a safe place to flourish and grow and be somewhere where you know you're not going to get bullied or made fun of, Next Level Nation's the place.
Heavy one. Last thing. I'm a natural protector, so if you're in the community, if you're in the NLU family, I'm going to bat for you. Same the team. I say that on every team call. I care very much about the community, and I want to keep everybody safe. That is one of the goals I have in life. Tomorrow, for episode number 1430, 3 questions to ask yourself to get more clarity. One of the things we learned when we went to the speaking engagement that we were keynoting at is clarity is a superpower, and it's something that not a lot of people have, and I wonder if people really know how to find it. So we are going to jam on that tomorrow for episode number 1430. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We'll talk to you all tomorrow.
Sail away from toxic. Next Level Nation.